today's video is going to be my best of beauty for the year of 2014. Now, I'm really going to be talking about the products that I absolutely cannot live without this year, because if I was just going to talk about my favourite products of the year, this video would be never ending. So I'm just going to talk about the products that I really reach for on a very regular basis and products that I just cannot live without. I don't think there's much I need to say, so I'm probably just going to jump right into this. My first product that I absolutely reach for on a very regular basis is my foundation. This is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation. This is kind of a pricey foundation, but for me, I do have some problem areas on my skin with my keratosis pilaris, hyperpigmentation on my face, so I do like to spend a bit more money on my foundation if I think that it's worth that. I do think that if I can find a foundation that is perfect, then I will spend a bit more on it, and this is honestly the first foundation I've ever felt completely comfortable with my skin whilst wearing, and I got this in the colour 2C3 Fresco. I love it. It makes your skin look absolutely beautiful. It is quite a full coverage foundation, but I found that that works best with my skin with my redness around my cheeks, and this lasts for such a long time. So this really is the foundation that I do wear on a regular basis, and it's by far my favourite foundation I've ever come across. I have two concealers to show you. The first is the Maybelline Fit Me foundation. This is a great everyday concealer. It's not too high coverage, so it does look very natural if you are going for kind of a no makeup look. I do use this under my eyes and on any blemishes that I have, and it really does help mask them. But it's super inexpensive. I think it's £4 or £5 in the UK, and I know that you can get this in America and other places as well. And I do use this in my everyday concealer routine. I don't wear it alone just because it doesn't give me the full coverage that I do want, but it's a great kind of base, and if I'm not wearing foundation but I do need a bit of concealer, I will use this. And mine is in the colour 15 Fair Claire. And the second concealer I have to show you is Glamouflage by Hard Candy. I have this in the colour Light, and I use this as a highlight. So I use this on the triangle shape under my eyes, in between my forehead, the bridge of my nose, throwing this stuff everywhere, but the middle of my chin and along these bits here. That is only if I'm doing a super full coverage foundation and concealer routine. I won't wear that on an everyday basis, obviously, because that's just way too much effort to do every day. But I will usually put this under my eyes as a highlight on a regular basis. It's very similar to my MAC Pro Longwear Concealer, which I did want to just throw in here quickly, give it a shout out because it's helped me in many situations. I've got this in NW15, which is the shade that I use to highlight with. This and this are very comparable, but this is definitely cheaper. I found this at Walmart, I believe, when I was in America, but I do think that they are very similar in the jobs that they do. They're both medium to high coverage, and they both do great as highlighters. Rimmel Stay Matte Translucent Powder. I use this to set my foundation. I rediscovered this earlier on this year and I love it. It's £4 or £5 on the high street, and it's great value, and it does last you for a really long time, and it is something that I reach for on a regular basis because I do always have to set my foundation. I can never just leave it without having a powder on the top, so I always reach for this. I was using the Ben Nye Banana Powder for a while, but that just goes too yellow and I'm just not a great fan of that, so I do really like this. NARS Laguna. I bought this for the first time at IMATS this year, and this is the second one that I purchased, and I love it. I unfortunately lost my first one when I lost a bunch of my makeup this year, so that was slightly annoying, but such is life, these things happen. This is an absolutely great shade to contour with. It's the perfect matte shadow, and I use this with the e.l.f. small stipple brush, which looks just like this, and I will go in the hollows of my cheeks here, and it isn't too orange, so it doesn't make it look fake. It gives it a very realistic shadow effect, which is exactly what you want when you're contouring. You want it to seem like it's a natural shadow cast. So this is a great colour to use for contouring, so I really like this. I haven't unfortunately been able to find a drugstore or cheaper alternative because this is a little bit pricey, but it does the job and I'm willing to pay it because it lasts for a really long time. However, the bronzer that I've been reaching for on a very regular basis this year has been the NYC Smooth Skin Sunny Bronzer, and I got this in the shade Sunny. This, I think, is a dupe for Benefit's bronzer because it has a very warm, not orange, but it does have a very warm tone to it, which is great for bronzing, especially in the summertime when you want to just dust it on the temples and on the cheekbones so it makes you look like you caught the sun, and it does give a very realistic view of that. However, I don't use this to contour just because it doesn't really look realistic, because you don't tend to get an orange contour, but this is great to use as a bronzer. MAC Pinch Me Blush. I repurchased this in the way of Melba, which is my other favourite MAC blush. In fact, these two are definitely my two all-time favourite blushes ever. I don't have Melba with me because, again, that got lost or stolen, but this is a great everyday colour that I do wear almost every day, no matter what eyeshadow I'll be wearing. I know that may make some of you cringe. It is very pigmented, so you do have to use a very light hand, but a little goes a long way, and I think that's great. It's going to last a really long time, and it gives you that perfect amount of pink and peach without going too over the top on either one of them, and it's something that I do wear on an everyday basis. Becca Opal Highlighter. This is an absolutely beautiful highlighter. I only really found out about Becca Cosmetics around April time of this year, and I got hooked. They are such good quality and they last for such a long time. This highlighter is the most perfect shade I have ever found for a highlighter. I definitely prefer this over my Mary Luminizer from the Balm because it's a really nice warm golden highlight colour, which is what I like, and it goes the best with my skin tone. It just gives you that perfect amount of glow, and again, I will reach for this on an everyday basis. No matter what tutorial it is, I will always go for this. Anastasia, Anna Hoo Ha, Beverly Hills Brow Wiz. This is the bomb.com. When I first purchased this, it was because of Jaclyn Hill, and the first time I used it, I was like, what is she talking about? This is rubbish. And then I gave it a few more chances and tried it out a bit more, and I have grown to love this like nothing else. I got this in the colour medium brown, and it matches my brow hair perfectly. It is the best pencil I have ever come across, and I did think that the Maybelline brow, the one in the green little tube thing, I thought that would be the same, but it's nothing compared to this. This really is one of the products that shows quality and price really do go together, because this is a little bit more expensive, and I actually don't think I can get this in England, and I'm very close to running out of it. I was never really one for pencil liners in the brow. I always thought that looked really fake, but the way that this goes, if you use the spoolie brush with the pencil that it comes with, it works so well, and I really do love this. Moving on to eyeshadows, I have a few different ones to mention. I haven't got a particular palette that I want to mention just because there hasn't been one palette that I have been reaching for. If anything, it was my Urban Decay Naked 3 this year, but I still didn't reach that a whole bunch in comparison to single eyeshadows. So the first one that I want to mention is Steela's Kitten, and I know that this again is quite expensive, so I've got kind of a dupe for that, which is the L'Oreal, the L'Oreal Infallible Eyeshadow in Iced Latte. So this is definitely a cheaper alternative, and they do look very similar. Not exactly the same, but they do look very similar. But this eyeshadow just adds so much brightness to your eyes. If I ever don't know what makeup look I want to do, but I want some kind of bright shadow and darker in the crease, I will just reach for Kitten. When I was in America, my everyday eye look was Kitten on the lid, Swiss chocolate in the crease, and then some liner, and I was sorted. So pigmented. I mean, this is literally going to be one swatch. I mean, how is that even real? You can also use this as a cheekbone highlight as well as the eye, and if I'm not using this on the lid, I'll still use this as an inner corner highlight just because it brightens up my eyes so well. I had to give this a shout out just because of how much I've used it this year. I did briefly mention this, but this is MAC Swiss Chocolate. This is just a perfect all-round warm brown shadow for the transition colour. I use this in so many of my looks, it's so great. I haven't even hit pan on it, I'll just use this with my big Sigma E40 blending brush and hit this in my transition colour and smoke it out on my lower lash line, and I love the way that that looks. And it's something that I do reach for on an everyday basis. And just a couple more, one other transition colour. This is from NYX. This is a matte shadow in the shade Blame It On Midnight. This is a lighter warm brown colour that you would use above Swiss Chocolate in the crease as a transition colour. It's very almost, it's like a kind of camel-y beige colour, and it's super cheap, really inexpensive, and great quality. I have quite a few of the NYX shadows that I picked up when I was in America. The shade isn't really picking up correctly on camera, it looks kind of more orange in camera, but it's definitely more of a yellowy, golden, beige colour. And the final shadow I just want to give a shout out to is MAC All That Glitters. This is such a staple colour, I feel like so many people have this. This really complements blue eyes as well. It does go well with my green eyes, it kind of brings out the amber. I'll definitely just switch between the Steeler Kitten and All That Glitters as a great everyday colour. And I couldn't go through this video without giving a shout out to my Urban Decay primer. This is the original primer potion, I think, yes. So this doesn't have a colour, it gives you, if anything, it just gives kind of a matte look to the lid and cancels out any pigmentation. I will never use anything else but Urban Decay eyeshadow primer. This has just been an absolute lifesaver. It was the first eyeshadow primer that I ever used. A little does go a long way with this. If you've watched any of my tutorials, you know how much emphasis I place on priming. It's so important, and this little guy will save your butt. L'Oreal Telescopic Mascara has been one of my absolute go-to. I love the L'Oreal Telescopic Carbon Black. I really do love L'Oreal mascaras. There's just something about it. I think there's some fairy dust mixed in there because they just do something right that just makes your lashes look so much longer and more volumized. So it's just a great mascara that I will always go back to time and time again. So I had to give him a little shout out. Wet n Wild Mega Liner in the colour black. I have gone through so many pots of this because this is, I can't find another eyeliner that is as good as this, and it's so cheap. When I was just about to leave America, I went to the drugstore and I picked up 3 more packs of this little guy because there's nothing that I can compare this to. I love when an eyeliner gives you such a matte black finish, and this is exactly what this does. It has a really thin brush tip, so it gives you a really precise flick at the end if you're doing cat eye, and I love doing liquid liner like that. It's cheap, it's good quality, and it looks amazing. The lashes that I go back to time and time again are not a particular brand, but they are Demi Wispies. This is just a pack I picked up when I was in Walmart. This isn't the particular brand that I love the most. This is Salon Perfect, but Demi Wispies are by far my favourite type of lashes to wear, just because you don't have to wear them with a big dramatic eye look. You can even wear them on a daily basis, and it just adds a little bit of perfection to your eye look. They're just so complimentary, and they just add a bit of something extra to any eye look that you wear. I will wear these almost every time I do an eye look. These are just by far, Demi Wispies are my favourite type of style of lashes to wear, and this year I cannot tell you how many types of Demi Wispies and packets of Demi Wispies I have gone through. Moving on to lipsticks. There aren't a whole bunch that I want to mention, just because if I start talking about a few of my favourite lipsticks I will end up mentioning a ton, so I'm just going to go for the ones that I have used and cannot live without this year. First off are the Jordana liners. I found these in America because of Carly Bybel. I have watched her for years and years and years, and she always uses Jordana tawny lip liner in so many of her tutorials, and when I was in one of the drugstores over there I saw them on sale, and there was something like $2 or something. So again, before I left, I went round and I bought 6 or 7 of their liners. I have about 4 backups of tawny. I have 2 of the Coco Loco. I have a plum one, and I have it in Cabernet as well. And they are just awesome. They make your lipstick last a really long time, good quality, and they're cheap as well. I'm so glad that I bought backups of them because I use them so often. So next time I'm going to be in America, I'm going to buy even more of them because I just have such a great relationship with these guys. The NYX Butter Glosses are amazing. These are my favourite lip gloss that I have found over there. Again, I bought backups of these. My favourite one is this one, which is Creme Brulee. It's the perfect pinky peachy your lips but better colour, so every time I do a nude lip I wear this, and again it's cheap, it's great quality. I've used it so often this year. I've got one of these always in my handbags for nights out and evenings out, and just generally in the day to top up. This is my go-to lip gloss. L'Oreal Fairest Nude. This is my favourite nude lipstick at the moment. The L'Oreal lipsticks are one of my favourite types of lipsticks. They're great quality. It's a great pinky nude colour. And finally, the Kat Von D Everlasting Liquid Lipsticks. I have this one in Lolita and the other one in Baja 5. These are my most favourite matte lipsticks of the moment, and I have been wearing these so much recently, and they're just absolutely great quality, and when you put these bad boys on they are not coming off. So I love wearing these on nights out because it means that I don't have to keep running to the bathroom to touch my lipstick up. I wore Baja 5 out a lot when I was in America because it's a great statement colour. It's a really bright fuchsia colour and I love that colour. It's especially great for the summertime. This is Lolita, which is a kind of dusty rosy browny colour. I'll show you guys now. It's a great kind of chocolatey colour, and that's definitely been one of the favourites of people that I have seen recently because I went to so many different Sephoras trying to find this because it was sold out everywhere. I finally got my hands on it in New York, but the quality of these is amazing, so I'm not surprised that they were sold out because these colours are loved by so many people. Even with eating and drinking, this just stays on for such a long time. And finally, I have 4 makeup brushes that I want to give a shout out to. The first is my MAC 217 or 219. This is a perfect blending brush for the crease, and it's quite dense, so you can definitely buff out some darker colours that you have in your crease. This is definitely, again, one of the brushes that I use on a regular basis. And the other blending brush is the Sigma Taper Blending Brush, which is the E40. I use this every single time I do my makeup. I'm not joking. Every single time I use this because whenever I do my makeup, I will have some sort of eyeshadow look going on, whether it's just this shadow in the crease and blending it all over the lid, or if I'm going for a super dramatic look like I've got today, I will use this brush. This has been an absolute lifesaver for me. I don't know what I did before this. It's been an absolute lifesaver. The e.l.f. Small Stippling Brush, which I mentioned a little bit earlier. This is the best, hands down, best brush for contouring ever. And this was so cheap. It was so cheap. It was £3 or £4, and I know you can get it in America for $4 maybe. How can you not love that? It's awesome, and it's lasted me a really long time. Finally, I have to give a shout out to my favourite foundation brush. This is the Sigma Flat Top Kabuki F80 brush, and I use this for my foundation the majority of the time. And the only time I won't use this is if it's too dirty and I have to go for one of my other brushes, but I will always go back for this just because it packs on such a great amount of products. It really makes it look flawless and it gives you that almost airbrushed finish. This honestly is the best combo for flawless airbrush looking skin. I do have a coupon code for Sigma for January. It's NY2015 for the new year, and in my description I do have a link for you to click through. I'm always honest with you guys, I do earn commission on my links, but I would really appreciate it if you could help me out and use that. Those are all of my best of 2015, but these have just been products that I absolutely cannot live without this year and have been so helpful to me, and I have loved using them, and they really make me feel good about myself when I wear them, so I wanted to show you guys them. I would love to know some of your favourite beauty products from the year of 2014, so leave me a comment down below. You can also connect with me on Instagram and Twitter, my links are in the description bar. Come and chat with me on there, I always love interacting with you guys. I would love it if you subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. I don't think I have that much else to say other than I hope that you did enjoy this video, and until next time I'll talk to you guys very soon. Thank you for watching, bye!